Dr. Yuki Tanaka sat in her office on Council Station Harmony, looking at the beautiful view of distant stars through the huge window. She had been working as a xenobiologist for the Galactic Council for 3 years now. Her job was to study alien life forms and help different species understand each other. Today felt like any other peaceful day. The station was quiet, with only the soft hum of air recyclers and the gentle voices of various aliens walking through the halls. The council was made up of many peaceful species. There were the Akrani, who were amazing healers with their 6 arms and gentle nature. The Morthak were master engineers who could build anything but never made weapons. The Celestine were deep thinkers who spent their time on philosophy and art. Yuki was reading reports about a new plant species when her communication device started beeping with an emergency signal. She pressed the answer button and saw the face of Ambassador Veltar from the Zalani species. The Zalani were one of the most peaceful races in the galaxy. They were tall and thin, with pale blue skin and large silver eyes. They lived on a world called Kepler 442b, which was famous for its floating cities and beautiful crystal forests. But today, Veltar looked terrible. His silver eyes were wide with fear, and his hands were shaking. Behind him, Yuki could see other Zalani running around in panic. "Dr. Tanaka," Veltar said, his voice breaking. "Please, you must help us. Something horrible is happening on our homeworld. We need the Council's help right now." Yuki sat up straight. In all her time working with the Zalani, she had never seen them upset about anything. They were known for being calm and peaceful in every situation. "What's happening, Ambassador?" Yuki asked. "Tell me everything." Veltar's hands moved quickly over his control panel, and suddenly Yuki's screen filled with images from the Zalani homeworld. What she saw made her stomach drop. The beautiful floating cities were covered in dark metal. The crystal forests were being torn apart by huge machines. Everything looked wrong and twisted. "They call themselves the Harvest," Veltar said. "They are ancient machines that woke up 3 days ago. We don't know where they came from or why they are here, but they are destroying everything. They take our cities and change them into horrible metal structures. They consume all organic matter." The images on Yuki's screen showed massive machines that looked like giant spiders made of black metal. They moved across the landscape, breaking down everything natural and rebuilding it into cold, mechanical structures. Where beautiful gardens once grew, now there were only pipes and metal platforms. "Our people are dying," Veltar continued. "The machines are too fast and too strong. Our weapons don't work against them. We tried to fight, but our tools are meant for mining asteroids and building things, not for war." Yuki watched the footage in horror. She could see Zalani civilians running from the machines, trying to escape in their small flying vehicles. Some made it to safety, but many didn't. The machines seemed to have no interest in the Zalani as living beings. They just saw them as materials to be processed. "How many of your people have been evacuated?" Yuki asked. "Maybe half," Veltar said sadly. "But the machines are spreading fast. They will cover our entire planet in less than 2 weeks. After that, they will probably move to other worlds. Dr. Tanaka, we need military help. We need someone who can fight these things." Yuki understood the problem immediately. The Galactic Council was made up of peaceful species. None of them had real military forces. The Akrani could heal wounds, but they couldn't destroy machines. The Morthak could build defenses, but they refused to make weapons. The Celestine could think of solutions, but thinking wouldn't stop the harvest. "I will bring this to the emergency council meeting right away," Yuki said. "But you know that most of our member species don't have armies." Veltar nodded. "That's why we need the humans. Everyone says humans are good at solving impossible problems. They are the only ones who might be able to help us." Yuki felt a chill run down her spine. She was human herself, but she had spent years trying to fit in with the peaceful alien cultures. Humans were the newest members of the Galactic Council, and many species still didn't trust them completely. They thought humans were too aggressive and unpredictable. "I'll contact Earth immediately," Yuki said, "but I need to warn you about something. When humans solve problems, they sometimes use methods that other species find difficult to understand." "I don't care," Veltar said quickly. "We'll accept any help. Without it, my entire species will be extinct in 2 weeks." After ending the call, Yuki sat back in her chair and thought about what she had just seen. The harvest machines were unlike anything in the galactic databases. They seemed to be completely focused on converting organic worlds into mechanical ones. If they spread beyond the Zilani home world, they could threaten every living planet in the galaxy. She sent an emergency message to Earth, marked with the highest priority codes. Then she called for an emergency council session. Within an hour, representatives from all the major species were gathered in the Great Council Chamber. Yuki played the footage from the Zilani homeworld. The reaction was immediate. The gentle Akrani covered their eyes and made soft crying sounds. The Morthak engineers started discussing possible building solutions that might slow down the machines. The Celestine philosophers sat in deep thought, trying to understand the purpose of such destruction. But everyone's eyes turned to the human section when Veltar finished his presentation with a formal request for military aid. Humanity was the only council species with a real military and experience in warfare. The human representative, General Martinez, stood up slowly. He was a serious man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had fought in several human wars before joining the diplomatic service. "We will help," General Martinez said simply. "But I need to be clear about something. Human military solutions are often very different from what other species expect. Are you prepared for that?" Veltar didn't hesitate. "General, my people are being consumed by ancient killing machines. We will accept any solution that saves us." General Martinez nodded. "Then we'll begin immediately. But remember, you asked for our help. Don't judge our methods until you see the results." As the council session ended, Yuki felt both hope and worry. She knew humans were capable of amazing things, but she also knew they often achieved their goals in ways that shocked their alien friends. Whatever humanity was planning, it would probably surprise everyone. The question was whether it would be a good surprise or a terrible one. 5 days had passed since the emergency council meeting, and Ambassador Veltar was getting more worried every hour. He stood on the observation deck of Council Station Harmony, watching space through the large windows. He was waiting for the human military fleet that General Martinez had promised. So far, he had only seen 3 small ships arrive. They were much smaller than he had expected. Each ship looked like it could carry maybe 30 people. Where were the huge battleships? Where were the thousands of soldiers? Where were the powerful weapons that would destroy the harvest? Dr. Yuki Tanaka found him there, staring out at the human ships with confusion on his face. "Ambassador," Yuki said gently, "the human team is ready to meet with you." Veltar turned to look at her. "Dr. Tanaka, I don't understand. We asked for military help, but they only sent 3 tiny ships. My homeworld is being destroyed right now. Every hour, more of my people die or become refugees." Yuki nodded. She had been wondering about the same thing. "Let's go meet with them. Maybe they can explain their plan." They walked together to the main meeting room where the human team was waiting. Veltar had expected to meet with military commanders in battle armor, carrying weapons and talking about attack strategies. Instead, he found 3 humans in simple clothes, sitting around a table covered with data tablets and scientific equipment. The leader was a woman with short black hair and kind eyes. She stood up and smiled when they entered. "Ambassador Veltar," she said, "I'm Dr. Sarah Kim. I'm a xenoarchaeologist. This is Dr. Jin Park, our military consultant, and Dr. Lisa Chen, our systems analyst." Veltar looked confused. Xenoarchaeologist? You study ancient alien cultures? That's right, Dr. Kim said. And Dr. Park studies military history, not just current warfare. Dr. Chen specializes in understanding how complex systems work. But where are your soldiers? Veltar asked. Where are your weapons? We need you to fight the harvest, not study them. Dr. Park, a quiet man with thoughtful eyes, spoke for the first time. Ambassador, fighting isn't always about shooting at things. Sometimes the best way to win a war is to understand your enemy completely. Veltar felt his hope beginning to fade. Commander, my people don't have time for research. The harvest machines are taking over our planet right now. We need action, not understanding. Dr. Kim pulled up a holographic display showing the current state of the Zalani homeworld. The dark metal structures had spread even further since the last report. Now they covered almost 30% of the planet's surface. We know time is critical, Dr. Kim said. That's why we need to move fast. But we need to move smart, too. Can you tell us everything you know about these machines? Where did they come from? How do they work? What exactly do they do to the organic matter they consume? For the next several hours, Veltar and other Zalani refugees shared everything they knew about the harvest. The machines had appeared suddenly in the northern continent, emerging from underground. They seemed to follow some kind of programming that made them convert organic matter into processed materials. Then they used those materials to build more machines and metal structures. Dr. Chen studied the data carefully. It looks like they're not just destroying, she said. They're transforming. They're changing your planet into something else. Into what? Veltar asked. We don't know yet, Dr. Park said, but we're going to find out. The next day, the human ships left for the Zalani homeworld. Veltar wanted to go with them, but Dr. Kim said it was too dangerous. Instead, they set up a communication link so he could watch what the humans were doing. What he saw made him even more confused and frustrated. The humans landed their ships on the edge of the territory controlled by the harvest. But instead of attacking the machines, they started studying them. Dr. Kim and her team collected samples of the metal structures. They took detailed scans of the machines. They even captured some of the smaller harvest units and took them apart. Meanwhile, Dr. Park was doing something completely different. He wasn't studying the harvest at all. Instead, he was examining the planet itself. He collected soil samples, studied the atmosphere, and analyzed the local plant and animal life that hadn't been consumed yet. Back on Council Station Harmony, other alien representatives were getting impatient. What are the humans doing? Asked Representative Kala from the Akrani. They should be fighting, not playing with machines like children with toys. This is taking too long, said Engineer Thorax from the Morthak. Every day they waste, more Zalani die. Veltar was starting to agree with them. He contacted Dr. Kim directly. Dr. Kim, he said, trying to keep his voice calm, I appreciate that you're learning about the harvest, but when will you start destroying them? Dr. Kim looked up from her work. She was covered in dust and looked tired, but her eyes were bright with excitement. Ambassador, we're making incredible progress. These machines are far more sophisticated than we first thought. They're not just random destroyers. They have a very specific purpose. What purpose? Veltar asked. They're terraformers, Dr. Kim said. They're changing your planet to make it suitable for some other species. The question is, what species? And why now, after being dormant for so long? I don't care about their purpose, Veltar said, his calm finally breaking. I care about stopping them. Dr. Park appeared on the communication screen next to Dr. Kim. Ambassador, we understand your frustration, but if we're going to stop them permanently, we need to understand how they work. Otherwise, they might just start up again later, or spread to other worlds. How much more time do you need? Veltar asked. Dr. Kim and Dr. Park looked at each other. 72 hours, Dr. Kim said finally. Give us 3 more days, and we'll have a solution." "What kind of solution?" Veltar asked. Dr. Park's expression became very serious. "A permanent one. The kind that makes sure the harvest never threatens anyone again." After ending the communication, Veltar sat alone in his quarters, feeling hopeless. 3 more days seemed like forever. 3 more days meant thousands more of his people would become refugees or worse. But what choice did he have? The humans were the only ones offering help. Everyone else in the galaxy could only provide food and shelter for refugees, not a way to save his home world. On the 3rd day, Dr. Kim contacted the council with an emergency announcement. "We have a solution," she said, "but I need to warn everyone it's not what you're expecting. It's going to seem extreme. Some of you might think it's wrong, but it's the only way to completely eliminate the harvest threat." Veltar leaned forward. "Tell us." Dr. Kim took a deep breath. "We're going to destroy your planet's entire surface ecosystem. We're going to make the atmosphere toxic and the ground radioactive. We're going to kill everything." The silence that followed was complete. Every alien in the council chamber stared at the communication screen in shock. Finally, Veltar found his voice. "You want to kill our world?" "It's the only way," Dr. Park said, appearing next to Dr. Kim. "The harvest machines are programmed to terraform planets for organic life. If the planet becomes completely uninhabitable, their programming will fail and they'll shut down permanently. But that means—" Veltar couldn't finish the sentence. "It means your planet dies," Dr. Kim said softly. "But it also means the harvest dies with it. And they won't be able to spread to other worlds." Veltar felt like someone had hit him in the stomach. The humans weren't offering salvation. They were offering a different kind of extinction. The emergency council session was the loudest and most angry meeting in the station's history. Representatives from every species were shouting, their voices mixing together in dozens of different languages. In the center of it all, the human communication screen showed Dr. Kim and Dr. Park waiting calmly for the noise to die down. Dr. Yuki Tanaka sat in her chair, feeling sick to her stomach. She had known that human solutions were often extreme, but this was beyond anything she had imagined. Her own species was suggesting the complete destruction of an entire world. Representative Kala from the Akrani was the first to speak clearly. "This is not help," she said, her 6 arms shaking with emotion. "This is genocide. You want to kill a planet to save it? That makes no sense." Engineer Thorax from the Morthak agreed. "We build things, we create things. We don't destroy entire worlds. This goes against everything the Council stands for." The Celestine philosopher Jen spoke in a voice heavy with sadness. "In all our years of thinking about difficult problems, we have never considered a solution that requires the death of everything good to stop something bad." Ambassador Veltar stood up slowly. His silver eyes were filled with tears. "Dr. Kim, Dr. Park, I asked for your help to save my world, not to murder it. How is this different from what the harvest is doing?" Dr. Kim's expression remained calm, but Yuki could see the pain in her eyes. "Ambassador, I understand how this sounds, but please let us explain the complete situation." Dr. Park activated a new holographic display. It showed not just the Zalani homeworld, but a star map of the entire local galaxy region. "The harvest isn't just on your planet," Dr. Park said. "Our deep space scans have found similar machines on 17 other worlds. They're all dormant right now, but they're connected. If the machines on your world complete their terraforming project, they'll send a signal that activates all the others." The council chamber became very quiet. Dr. Kim continued. "The species that built the harvest died out millions of years ago, but their machines are still trying to prepare planets for their return. If they succeed on your world, they'll spread across this entire region of the galaxy. Hundreds of worlds will be consumed." Veltar sat down heavily. You're saying that my world is going to be sacrificed to save hundreds of others? We're saying that your world is already lost, Dr. Park said gently. The harvest will consume it completely within 10 days. Every living thing will be processed into building materials. But if we destroy the surface first, in a way that makes terraforming impossible, the machines will shut down. All of them, everywhere. Dr. Chen appeared on the screen with a data tablet. We've been studying their programming code. The machines have one critical weakness. They cannot operate on a planet that is completely hostile to the life forms they're trying to create. If we make your world uninhabitable in the right way, their entire network will recognize the mission as failed and go dormant permanently. What exactly are you planning to do? Asked Representative Kayla. Dr. Kim looked uncomfortable. We have atmospheric processors. They're designed to change a planet's air and environment. Usually we use them to make worlds more livable for humans, but we can also use them to make worlds completely toxic. We would detonate them at strategic points across your planet, Dr. Park added. The explosions would release chemicals that would poison the atmosphere and create radioactive zones across the entire surface. Nothing could live there for a very long time. The silence stretched on for several minutes. Finally, the Celestine philosopher Zhen spoke. You are asking us to choose between the certain death of one world and the possible death of hundreds. Not possible, Dr. Kim said firmly. Certain. The Harvest Network will activate if we don't stop it here. Veltar looked around the council chamber at all the aliens who had become his friends over the years. The Akrani, who had healed his injuries, the Morthak, who had built his embassy, the Celestines, who had taught him philosophy, the humans who were now offering to destroy his home to save theirs. How long would our world remain poisoned? Veltar asked quietly. Dr. Park hesitated. With the chemicals we're planning to use, at least 1,000 years, maybe longer. Several representatives gasped. 1,000 years was longer than most civilizations lasted. And you're certain this will work? Veltar asked. We're certain it will stop the harvest, Dr. Kim said. We've run the calculations hundreds of times. If your planet becomes hostile enough, their programming will shut down the entire network. Representative Kayla stood up. I call for a vote. All those who support this human plan, raise your hands. No one moved. All those who oppose this plan? Every alien representative raised their hands, arms, or tentacles. Only the humans abstained from voting. The council rejects your solution, Kayla announced. Find another way. Dr. Park shook his head. There is no other way. We've examined every possibility. Then we will evacuate the Zalani and contain the harvest some other method, Engineer Thorax said. We'll build a barrier around their system. We'll find a way. There isn't time, Dr. Kim said. The machines will finish their work in 8 days. After that, the signal goes out, and this entire region of space becomes uninhabitable. The argument continued for hours. Some representatives suggested using their combined fleets to attack the harvest directly. The humans explained that the machines were too numerous and too well defended. Others suggested trying to reprogram the machines. The humans showed data proving that the machine's code was too complex and too well protected. Finally, Veltar stood up and raised his hand for silence. The council has voted against the human plan, he said, but the council is not the government of the Zalani people. As the official representative of my species, I have the right to make decisions about our homeworld. Everyone stared at him. Ambassador, Representative Kala said softly, you cannot be considering this. Veltar's voice was barely above a whisper. Dr. Kim, Dr. Park, if I give you permission to proceed with your plan, can you guarantee that the Harvest Network will be stopped permanently? Yes, both humans said at the same time. And if I don't give you permission, can you guarantee that the harvest will not spread to other worlds? Dr. Kim closed her eyes. No, we can't guarantee that. Veltar nodded. Then I have no choice. Dr. Kim, you have my permission to save the galaxy by destroying my world. The council chamber erupted in angry voices again. Several representatives began shouting that they would not allow this to happen. Others demanded that the human team be arrested. Dr. Park's voice cut through the noise. It's too late to stop us. We've already positioned the atmospheric processors. They're armed and ready to detonate on our command. The chamber became dead silent. When? Veltar asked. Dr. Kim looked at her watch. 6 hours. We wanted to give you time to evacuate any remaining civilians from the surface. Veltar nodded and walked out of the chamber. As he left, he could hear Representative Kala calling for an immediate vote to expel humanity from the Galactic Council. Dr. Yuki Tanaka sat in her chair, watching the humans on the communication screen. She thought about all the time she had spent learning to fit in with peaceful alien cultures. She thought about the beautiful Zalani homeworld that would soon be a toxic wasteland. She thought about the hundreds of other worlds that might be saved. Then she stood up and walked to the human section of the chamber. Dr. Kim, she said, I support the human decision. Kayla turned to stare at her. Dr. Tanaka, you cannot mean that. I do mean it, Yuki said. Sometimes the right choice is the one that makes everyone hate you. The vote to expel humanity from the council passed by an overwhelming majority. Only Yuki voted against it. In 6 hours, the humans would either save the galaxy or commit the worst crime in its history. Maybe both. The last refugee ship lifted off from the Zalani homeworld just as the countdown reached 1 hour. Ambassador Veltar watched from the bridge of the evacuation vessel, looking down at his beautiful planet one final time. The crystal forests still sparkled in the sunlight. The floating cities still gleamed like jewels. In 1 hour, all of it would be gone forever. Dr. Yuki Tanaka stood beside him, having been expelled from Council Station, along with the rest of the human diplomatic team. She had chosen to witness what her species was about to do, even though it meant losing her career and her friends among the alien species. I keep thinking I should feel more afraid, Veltar said quietly, but I just feel empty. Yuki nodded. I've been working with aliens for years, trying to prove that humans could be peaceful and diplomatic. In 1 day, we've undone all of that work. On the ship's communication screen, Dr. Kim appeared from her position in orbit. Ambassador, we're ready to begin. All atmospheric processors are in position. The chemical reactions will start in exactly 57 minutes. Veltar looked at the screen. Dr. Kim, I need to ask you something. Are you certain this is the only way? Dr. Kim's face was serious. Ambassador, my team has run over 3,000 different scenarios. This is the only solution that completely eliminates the Harvest Network. I wish there was another way, but there isn't. And you're certain it will work? Yes, Dr. Kim said firmly. The atmospheric toxins will trigger a cascade failure in the machine's terraforming protocols. They'll shut down permanently. Veltar nodded. Then proceed. At exactly noon, Zalani time, the first atmospheric processor detonated. The explosion was enormous. A bright flash appeared on the northern continent, followed by a mushroom cloud that rose high into the atmosphere. Even from orbit, the refugees could see the shock waves spreading out across the landscape. More flashes followed as other processors detonated across the planet. Each explosion sent clouds of chemical vapor into the air. Within minutes, the beautiful blue sky of the Zalani homeworld began turning an ugly yellow-green color. The atmospheric composition is changing rapidly, Dr. Chen reported from her ship. Oxygen levels dropping, toxin concentrations rising, surface radiation increasing to lethal levels. On the observation screens, they could see the harvest machines beginning to react. The giant spider-like constructs stopped their building work and began analyzing the changing environment. Some of them sent out scanning beams, trying to understand what was happening to the planet they were terraforming. Their confusion protocols are activating, Dr. Kim said. They're trying to adapt to the new conditions. But as the chemical clouds spread, something amazing happened. One by one, the harvest machines began shutting down. The giant spiders folded their legs and went still. The processing plants stopped their work. The metal structures stopped growing. "It's working," Dr. Park said with relief in his voice. "Their programming can't handle a planet that's hostile to all organic life. They're interpreting the situation as a mission failure." Within 6 hours, the entire surface of the Zalani homeworld was covered by toxic clouds. The radiation levels were so high that nothing organic could survive. The beautiful forests were dying. The animals were fleeing to underground shelters where they would eventually run out of air. The floating cities had been evacuated, but they were already being corroded by the acid rain falling from the poisoned sky. And the harvest machines were completely silent. "Scanning the Deep Space Network now," Dr. Chen reported, checking the status of all connected harvest sites. They waited in tense silence for several minutes. "Confirmed," Dr. Chen announced. "All 17 dormant harvest sites have gone into permanent shutdown mode. The network is dead." A cheer went up from the human ships, but it sounded hollow and sad. They had succeeded, but the cost was an entire world. On the refugee ship, Veltar was watching real-time footage from the surface. His homeworld looked like a vision of hell. The sky was yellow and green. The ground was covered with a gray dust that killed anything it touched. The oceans were turning strange colors as the chemicals mixed with the water. "How long did you say it would take for the planet to recover?" Veltar asked. Dr. Park appeared on the communications screen. "Ambassador, I need to be honest with you. With the chemicals we used and the radiation levels we created, your planet will not recover. Not in 1,000 years, not in 10,000 years. We've made it permanently uninhabitable." The words hit Veltar like a physical blow. Permanently? "We had to be absolutely certain that the harvest network would never reactivate," Dr. Kim explained. "The only way to guarantee that was to make sure your planet could never support life again." Veltar sat down heavily in his chair. "So we saved the galaxy by murdering our world forever." "Yes," Dr. Park said simply. The refugee ships began their journey to temporary settlements on other worlds. The Galactic Council had already prepared refugee camps, but they were meant for short-term stays, not permanent resettlement. The Zalani had become a homeless species. News of what the humans had done spread quickly across the galaxy. Most species reacted with horror and disgust. The peaceful Akrani declared humans to be a dangerous and violent species that should be avoided. The Morthak engineers said they would never work with humans again. The Celestine philosophers spent days debating whether humans were evil or just profoundly different from everyone else. Dr. Yuki Tanaka received hundreds of messages from former colleagues, all saying the same thing. How could she support such a terrible act? But a few messages were different. Deep space monitoring stations reported that they had detected harvest signals from distant galaxies. Ancient machines were waking up on worlds that no one had ever heard of. If the Zalani network had activated, it might have sent signals that woke up even more machines across the universe. "We may have saved more than just our local region," Dr. Kim told Yuki privately. "The harvest network might have been connected to machines in other galaxies, too." "Does that make it worth it?" Yuki asked. "I don't know," Dr. Kim said honestly. "Ask me in 100 years. 3 months later, Veltar stood on the observation deck of the refugee settlement on Akrani Prime. Through the window, he could see Zalani children playing in the artificial gardens that the kind Akrani had built for them. The children had never seen their real home world. To them, this was home now. He was holding a message tablet that had just arrived from Dr. Kim. It was a simple message. "I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I hope someday you'll understand." Veltar thought about that message for a long time. The humans had destroyed his world to save countless others. They had committed an act that seemed evil to accomplish something good. They had made themselves hated by every peaceful species in the galaxy in order to protect those same species from a terrible threat. He thought about the last footage he had seen from his homeworld. The toxic clouds still covered everything. The radiation was still deadly. Nothing lived on the surface anymore. It was exactly as horrible as the humans had promised it would be. But scattered across 17 other worlds, ancient harvest machines sat silent and dead, no longer threatening anyone. Veltar put down the message tablet and went to join the children in the garden. Tomorrow, he would need to make decisions about the future of his people. But tonight, he just wanted to watch children play and be grateful that they had a future at all, even if that future was built on the ashes of their world. 1 year after the destruction of the Zalani homeworld, Ambassador Veltar was living in the refugee settlement on Akrani Prime. He had accepted that his beautiful planet was gone forever. The toxic yellow-green clouds, the deadly radiation, the complete absence of life. These images haunted his dreams every night. So when Dr. Kim's face appeared on his communication screen that morning, he almost didn't answer. The humans had saved the galaxy, but they had also murdered his world. What could she possibly have to say that would matter now? "Ambassador," Dr. Kim said, and her voice sounded strange, excited. "I need you to look at something." Despite himself, Veltar was curious. "What is it?" "Live footage from your homeworld." Veltar's heart sank. "Dr. Kim, I don't want to see what you did to my planet. I've seen enough." "Please," Dr. Kim said, "just look." Against his better judgment, Veltar accepted the video feed. He expected to see the same dead, toxic landscape that had filled his nightmares for a year. Instead, he saw blue sky. Veltar stared at the screen in shock. The yellow-green clouds were gone. In their place was a clean, bright blue that looked even more beautiful than he remembered. Below the sky, he could see green plants growing, not the twisted metal structures of the harvest, but actual living plants. "This is impossible," Veltar whispered. "The radiation should last for thousands of years. You said the chemicals would poison the atmosphere permanently." Dr. Kim's smile was the biggest he had ever seen. "Ambassador, we need to talk. Are you free for a long conversation?" 2 hours later, Veltar sat in the communication room with Dr. Yuki Tanaka, who had been living in exile on a human colony since being expelled from the council. Both of them were staring at Dr. Kim, Dr. Park, and Dr. Chen, who were all smiling like they had just told the best joke in the universe. "Let me make sure I understand this," Veltar said slowly. "You're telling me that you never poisoned my planet at all?" "Oh, we definitely poisoned it," Dr. Park said, "but not permanently. The atmospheric processors were designed to create a temporary toxic environment that would last exactly 1 year. The chemicals we used were specifically chosen because they would break down into harmless compounds," Dr. Chen added, "and the radiation was from isotopes with very short half-lives." Veltar felt like his brain was going to explode. "But you said it would last thousands of years." "We had to say that," Dr. Kim explained. "If the harvest machines had known the damage was temporary, they might have waited for the environment to clear and then reactivated. But because they thought the planet was permanently dead, they shut down forever." Dr. Yuki spoke for the first time. "You lied to everyone. You made us all believe you had committed genocide." "We had to," Dr. Park said seriously. "The only way to completely fool the Harvest Network was to fool everyone. If any organic species had known the truth, there was a chance the machines might have detected that knowledge through scanning or communication intercepts." "The reactions had to be genuine," Dr. Chen added. "Your horror, your anger, your grief. All of it was necessary to convince the machines that they had truly failed. Veltar stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the Akrani settlement where his people had been living for a year. "You're saying that my people have been refugees for nothing? That our world has been healed this entire time?" "Not healed," Dr. Kim corrected. "Improved." She activated a new holographic display that showed detailed scans of the Zalani homeworld. Veltar gasped at what he saw. The planet looked like his homeworld, but better. The forests were bigger and more diverse. The oceans were cleaner. Even the floating cities, which had been abandoned during the evacuation, looked somehow more beautiful. "During the year your planet was poisoned, we were busy," Dr. Park explained. "The atmospheric processors weren't just creating toxic clouds. They were also releasing engineered bacteria and modified seeds. While everyone thought we were monitoring a dead world, we were actually terraforming it," Dr. Chen said. "We removed pollutants from the oceans. We planted new forests with trees that are stronger and more resistant to disease. We even improved the soil composition." Dr. Kim leaned forward. "Ambassador, your homeworld isn't just restored. It's better than it ever was. The biodiversity is higher. The air is cleaner. The entire ecosystem is more stable and resilient." Veltar sat down again, feeling dizzy. "But the harvest machines?" "Completely destroyed," Dr. Park confirmed. "The temporary toxins were enough to trigger their shutdown protocols. When the environment cleared, they were already dead. We've spent the last 6 months dismantling them and recycling their materials into useful infrastructure. And the other harvest sites across the galaxy? All shut down permanently," Dr. Chen said. "The network is gone forever." Veltar was quiet for a long time, trying to process what he had learned. Finally, he looked up at the humans on the screen. "Why didn't you tell us this from the beginning?" Dr. Kim's expression became serious. "Because it wouldn't have worked. The harvest machines were incredibly sophisticated. They could detect lies, half-truths, and deception. The only way to fool them was to create a situation where everyone, including us, truly believed the planet was dying. We couldn't even tell our own government the complete plan," Dr. Park added. "Only the 3 of us knew the full truth. Everyone else, including General Martinez and the Human Council representatives, thought we were really destroying your world." Dr. Yuki shook her head in amazement. "So when I supported the human plan in front of the council, I really thought I was supporting genocide." "Yes," Dr. Kim said softly. "And we're sorry we put you through that. But your genuine reaction was part of what made the deception work." Veltar thought about all the nights he had spent grieving for his lost world, all the refugees who had cried for their destroyed home, all the children who had been born in exile, believing they were homeless. "How many people knew the truth?" he asked. "Just the 3 of us," Dr. Chen said. "Everyone else's emotions were real. That was necessary." "Even your own species hates you now," Veltar pointed out. "Most of the galaxy thinks humans are monsters." Dr. Park nodded. "We knew that would happen. But we decided that being hated was a small price to pay for saving every organic world in this region of space." Dr. Kim activated another display, this one showing population numbers. "Ambassador, in the year since the destruction of your homeworld, we've detected and prevented 3 other harvest activations in distant galaxies. The complete shutdown of the local network sent a signal that helped us identify other machines before they could wake up. We've saved an estimated 400 billion lives." The number was so huge that Veltar couldn't really understand it. 400 billion people were alive because his world had appeared to die. "There's something else," Dr. Chen said quietly. "The temporary destruction allowed us to study your planet's ecosystem more completely than would ever have been possible otherwise. We found several diseases that were slowly killing your forests, pollutants that were damaging your oceans, and soil problems that would have caused food shortages in a few decades. We fixed all of that," Dr. Kim added. Your world is now healthier than it has been in centuries." Veltar stood up again and looked at Dr. Yuki. "What do we do now?" Dr. Yuki smiled for the first time in months. "Now we go home. And then we face the very interesting challenge of explaining to the galaxy that humans aren't monsters. They're just very, very thorough." 3 months later, the first ships full of Zilani refugees landed on their restored homeworld. Veltar was among them, standing on the platform where he had said goodbye to his planet 2 years earlier. The sky was blue. The air smelled like flowers and rain. In the distance, he could see the crystal forests sparkling in the sunlight, bigger and more beautiful than ever. Children who had never seen their real homeworld ran laughing through the grass, chasing butterflies and picking flowers. Adults who had grieved for 2 years stood quietly, tears of joy running down their faces. Dr. Kim, Dr. Park, and Dr. Chen were there too, standing awkwardly to one side. They had saved the galaxy and restored a world, but they were still the people who had made everyone believe they were capable of genocide. Veltar walked over to them. "Dr. Kim," he said formally, "on behalf of the Zilani people, I want to thank you." "You don't need to thank us," Dr. Kim said. "We put you through hell." "You put us through hell to save us from something much worse," Veltar replied, "and you gave us back something better than what we lost." He paused and looked around at his restored homeworld. "The galaxy thinks humans are dangerous and unpredictable," he continued. "They're right. You are dangerous to anyone who threatens innocent people. And you are unpredictable. Because you don't just solve problems. You solve them so completely that the problem ceases to exist." Dr. Park smiled. "Is that a good thing or a bad thing?" Veltar watched a group of children playing in a meadow that was more beautiful than anything that had existed on his world before the humans destroyed it. "Ask me in 100 years, he said, "but right now I think it's exactly what the galaxy needs."